Welcome back to Acadiana's Morning News on this Tuesday, June 7th, 2015. So if you were at all hanging out on social media, you might have seen about a little bit of a backup at the airport. Some who were actually experiencing this might have said it was not a little backup. We wanted to bring in the director of the airport, Stephen Picou. We've had him on before, but just really interested in what the deal is. Is this a TSA problem that has trickled down to Lafayette, that we're having backups here? I know a lot of people are looking forward to the new terminal, but some questioning, can we handle more gates than we have now in the current situation that we have?
Well, good morning, and thank you for inviting me to your, I think you called your dining room table this morning?
Yeah, this is the kitchen table.
Table, but thanks for having me. Yes, there was, everyone knows nationwide the TSA has experienced some delays. It's been in the national media. It's occurring here at Lafayette, and what we'd like to do is inform all the listeners out there, hey, the way that we can ensure the smooth transition through the TSA line is you need to be here 90 minutes before your flight.
90 minutes.
90
there
minutes.
You go.
I know a lot of the airlines are reporting somewhere between 45 and 60. We're working with them to update their websites to show 90 minutes.
Okay. Well, that makes a difference, yeah.
And TSA also, if you're going to come in and you're international, you have to be 2 hours before. And that just ensures that you get through the line smoothly.
So how is the international TSA line different than domestic travel?
It's not different. It's the same line. What happens is the time that it takes you to go through the airlines procedures of getting you on an international, checking you all the way through to your international destination.
To your international destination.
That's
okay,
right.
well, that makes sense.
Okay.
Well, yeah, and if people go to a particular website that they're flying on that website and it says, hey, 45 minutes,
right.
And then you go there and you're like, oh my gosh, this is happening. Yeah, you've got to work with those folks to make sure that they get that updated.
Right. And you can also go to tsa.gov, tsa.gov, and you can look at the various Q&As, rules and regs. The question and answer, frequently asked questions and answers, on how to expedite your way through. 311 is the 3 ounces, or 3.4 to be technical, ounces in a Ziploc bag. That needs to come out. If you're a pre-check customer, which is a TSA program, then you don't have to do all that. You can go straight through and not take your shoes off and things like that, and that expedites. But it is an issue. As of yesterday, my children were flying in from, and a gentleman was in the lower level of the bag claim and arrived about 29 minutes before his flight and got left. Yeah. And it's changing.
Everything's changing.
And it's changing. And you have to be there early for the 90 minutes before and to get you through that line. And because of the size of the airport we are, the airlines, the guy that's taking your bags, that's taking your ticket, is the one you're going to see up putting you on the aircraft, throwing the bags, things like that.
Okay. So as the airport director, do you have any control in requesting that we have a second TSA line to get people through faster?
Well, we do. And in our new terminal building, we will have a second TSA line. And the TSA has already spoken to us about it, and they will staff it. If we have 2 lines, they will staff it. Because of our constraints on the size of the building we're in now, we cannot have 2 TSA lines. That's why we're asking everyone, hey, come out 90 minutes before. It's just the whole entire system, and it is trickling down into Lafayette, and it requires now that you be out 90 minutes prior to. It's not like it used to be where you can come up 45 minutes, 30 minutes, and still make it on your flight. You just can't do that.
And I think that's people's perception. I mean, we are working with 4 gates here right now, yet I could get through, New Orleans, there's 2 separate security areas, like, well, I guess 3 now for every major part, can get through that faster. In 2016, perception is reality in many cases with social media and the way people look. One of the comments, which I think it really just kind of got us to this issue, which we were like, we want to have Stephen on to see about this, was a comment that said, this has to be affecting people's decision to come to Lafayette for work, play, etc. It's just a shame. What do you do to change that perception that I can actually take a cheaper flight from New Orleans, even though I have to drive 2 hours? Why even go to this airport here?
Well, we monitor the social media, so we are aware of that comment that was made. Yeah. And so what I would encourage the individual to do is to come on out early, get there early. You want to drive to New Orleans? We don't want you to drive. We want you to stay here, and we appreciate the people that support our local airport. we have on our webpage, we have a calculator that that compulates the airfare versus the parking, your drive time. And
the aggravation.
The aggravation of getting into New Orleans International.
The chance that you get stuck over the basin.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing, unless I just don't have control over who's making the flight.
Yeah.
Reservations for me, I'm telling you, it's not worth.
Yeah.
It's not worth driving to Baton Rouge or driving to New Orleans. I mean, I just don't want to have to do that.
Right.
And I've always believed those signs too. It would so peeve me because I had done it, and I'm driving home from New Orleans and I would have been home by then.
Yeah.
That's right.
Right. That's very frustrating. So you need to understand now, you need 90 minutes. That's your minimum time, 90 minutes for a domestic flight. If you're flying internationally, you need 2 hours. It doesn't matter that Lafayette is a small airport. And I'm glad that you're able to work with the websites for our carriers that are here.
Sure.
Yeah, because if you go on that website and it says 45 minutes, you're going to be so peeved about the whole situation.
Right. You did mention the new terminal. Where are we on a timeline for that opening, first flights coming and going from there?
Well, that's a good question.
Yeah.
And that's also on social media about the new terminal. We don't have a timeline yet due to the fact we just hired that architect engineering firm and we are working through the process. You don't just build a terminal. It has to stand years, and there are things that have to take place. There are so many underground utilities in the area where the new terminal is going to go. So it's just, and you have to move all that stuff out of the way. But with the cargo building that's being built on
I saw that will be moved
Thruway,
to the other side.
Right.
Yeah.
That's clearing some area for we can relocate some of our current tenants and put them in areas, and then we can start moving towards the terminal. But overall, I'd say in 5 years or less, hopefully less, but we should have a new terminal up and built.
Great.
Excellent. That would
be always
very
great.
Happy.
I know a lot of times people, no matter if they're having a great situation, travel, they want to be where they are going to go. The middle part, the traveling, having to go there, I think is where the frustration sometimes lies. So thanks for agreeing to come in. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
It was great. I mean, and great insight on kind of your limitations. Obviously, this is the national problem we've talked about. We've heard about in many big areas. No one is, even the busiest airport that we have in our country in Atlanta, no one seems to be immune to this problem, so they're working with it too.
And if anyone has any questions, they can call the airport at any time or post stuff on Facebook, but we'd prefer to give us first chance,
dibs, I guess,
to possibly answer some of those questions that they might have.
All right, well, Stephen Picou, the airport director at Lafayette Regional Airport here in Lafayette, thanks for coming in.